Welcome to the Ladder Podcast. It is your host, Justin Strickland, and I am ecstatic to be before you today, finishing up part 2 of the 12 leadership lessons I learned in 12 years of marriage. I hope that you enjoyed part 1. If you haven't got to see it, now would be a good time to pause this, go back and watch part 1, and then jump back over here for part 2. I am super excited because I thought part 1 was amazing. I hope you learned some things, and I think part 2 is going to be equally as applicable to your leadership life and helping you to continue to move up the ladder as a member of Crew Excellence. Remember, if you haven't done so already, like, share, and subscribe because we are rolling through this year, man. I was just talking to the big homie Nate. Shout out to Nate, you know what I'm saying, behind the camera on the ones and twos. We are nearing, we're going to get through 50 episodes this year, which is incredible. And I've only been able to do it because of you, because I want to impact your life, and because you all have shown me feedback that you are enjoying the content. And so I want to say thank you for all those new subscribers who discovered the content this year. And I'm just excited to keep bringing you dope content as we move past this year and beyond. Without further ado, let's jump into part 2 of 12 lessons of leadership that I've learned in 12 years of marriage. We're on number 7. And number 7 is vision casting. This is something that I talk to with young married men about all the time. It is your job, and this applies to young leaders. It is your job to cast the vision, okay? Cast the vision for your marriage or for your team or organization. You have to let everyone know this is where we're going, and this is why we're going that way, and this is how I believe we can get there. Now, when you cast this vision, you got to remember, the most important part of it is the destination, and the why, right? Why we're going there and where we're going is the most important part. The how can change, okay? The how can change. You can get new information, new data. Your team might shift, might change. Not if you're married, but if you're running an organization or a team. But the how can change, right? You in a marriage, you might have different jobs. You might live in a different state. You might have a different income source, or you might have kids. Like, there's so many different things that can affect the how, but the why and the where are things that you gotta stay solid on. I'm not saying you can't change them, but if you do, you better have a really good reason, and it better be communicated clearly to all the people on the team, okay? What happens when you learn vision casting well and you do it well is people can trust you even if they don't agree or see it. So even if they're like, I don't know how we're going to get there, I don't know if that's the best place to go, but you are so good at communicating it clearly, they're like, you know what, I'll trust you on this. And that's really, as a leader, what you want. You just want your people to trust you. And because if they trust you, they'll run with you. And that's all you can ask for, is people to run with you, because that's how way you get there together. And so when you do vision casting well, you're able to get the benefit of the doubt from the people that you're working with. And all leaders need a little bit of benefit of the doubt, because all leadership requires a little bit of courage and a little bit of crazy. Okay? You got to see stuff that people haven't seen, and you got to be unafraid of things that people are afraid of. And so you need just a little bit of benefit of the doubt so that you can chase the dream and the vision that you're chasing. Okay? Now, I'm not saying you get ultimate say so and do whatever you want because you can cast a vision. No, there is accountability with this. There's responsibility with this. But I am saying when you do it well, you're able to create an environment where it's possible. Okay, so that's number 7. Number 8 is delegation. I really struggle with delegation. To this day, that's one of my struggles as a leader, is delegation. But I have learned a lot, and I'm not as bad as I used to be. And it's my mama's fault. Shout out to Mom Duke. She been on the pod. She is a I can do everything person. So I became an I can do everything person. And what I've learned is you gotta delegate. You have to delegate. And my mom, and so funny, my mom is learning this, and I'm learning it too. Is you got to be able to say, hey, you're amazing at this. I need some help. I'm okay at it, and I could do it. But if you do it, it's going to be better, and it'll take some burden off of me. That's hard for me as a leader. And to being honest, that can be hard because I'm like, I don't want to burden someone else. But if you're having people do things that they say they want to do, right? If people are saying, hey, I want to help you, then you are doing them a disservice if you don't allow them to help you, right? You're being disingenuous when you say, okay, bet I got you. When I need some help, I'm gonna ask you. Because we all need help. There's no such thing as someone who's being self-made. No one is self-made. That's just not how humans work, okay? No one has grown up in a remote desert by themselves and became a millionaire. And because one, you have to sell to people, okay? And so you can't be self-made, right? You can be hardworking, you can be disciplined, but we all need other people. And as leaders, sometimes we struggle with that fact. And so I'm saying, let that go. Swallow that ego, let go of that pride, delegate to others. Because what happens when you delegate to others is they become even more part of the mission, even more part of the vision, and they get to be great too. That's the thing as leaders, sometimes we forget, yes, God blessed us with leadership, but God blessed a lot of people with a lot of other things. And so when we delegate, we are allowing them to do the things that God created them to do. Okay? Number 9. Clear and consistent communication. I thought I was a great communicator, and then I got married. And I was like, I don't really like to talk about all this stuff. Like, I'm tired. I don't want to talk about all this stuff. But now I've grown up, thank God. And through about 12 years of marriage, I've learned you got to talk about all this stuff. You got to talk about all this stuff. You have to have clear communication. It has to be consistent communication. Some people have meetings. I envy the people who have like Fridays. We have budget meetings. We talk about anything throughout the week, and we set aside an hour, 2 hours, so that we can really discuss just how we are, where we are, and anything that's pressing, any matters. We talk about it there. I think that when you run a team organization, having a standing meeting that is profitable. I'm not saying you don't meet every week just because you got to meet every week, but having a meeting, whatever it is, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, that is profitable, where you communicate clearly, it can be a lifesaver for the health of your organization, right? It can be a place where people can share their grievances, where they can feel heard, where you can move forward past some impasses in your organization or in your vision. And it can be the place where you're able to share why you're doing what you're doing and how it's going, because those kind of updates in a marriage and in an organization can be the type of updates that keep you going when you're in a downtrend, right? Because like I talked about, everything isn't always on the up and up. So how do you get through the downturn? Clear and constant communication on, hey, we're going to turn this thing around, and we're going to do it by communicating, okay? Number 10, joy. 12 years of marriage have taught me joy. And what I mean by that is not happiness, right? Because happiness is fleeting. Happiness is external, circumstantial. But what I've learned through 12 years of marriage of joy is that from the inside out, how I experience life. I experience life with a general sense of joy. And that means I have hope, that I show grace, that I'm patient. A lot of the stuff from above comes because I have joy. And because I have joy, things and people can't take it because they didn't give it. And when you lead that way in a marriage and organization, people around you, joy is infectious, okay? It's like the best version of COVID. It's you can't help but get joy if you're around people with it. And as a leader, that's the best way to lead. 100%. I've been around a lot of different leaders. The ones that have joy are 1,000% the best ones to be around, the best ones to study under. And like I said, that don't mean they happy every day. That don't mean that they just smile for no reason. But that means in general, they have a positive view of life and what's possible. And when you bring that to the table, the people that you are leading will adapt that mindset. Okay, even if it's against their will. They don't like joy. They want to be negative. When they're around you, when they're in your environment, they're in your area, they will against their will, become more positive and become more forward thinking and hopeful. And that's the power of joy. Number 11, peace. So now we're getting deep, all right? 12 years of marriage have taught me peace. And what I mean by that is how you set up your life for peace is so important. And I'm not on the don't let nobody disrupt your peace, protect your peace. I'm saying that you can proactively create peace in your life. Systems, routine that create peace in your life. That doesn't mean it's not space for change. I'm not saying be static, that you can't be dynamic. But what I am saying is there are certain things that you can do that allow you to experience peace way more often than you don't. And as a husband, I have been very intentional about this. And as a leader, I've been very intentional about this. And it's a lot of times it's the way you respond to life when it ain't peaceful that can confirm if you have peace or not. Right? Like when something happens in your business or something happens in your marriage and it's not what you want it to happen, how do you respond to that? And that'll let me know if you had peace before or not, or if you was just faking it. Okay? Because if you have peace, you have a general sense of it's going to be okay. Like we're going to figure it out and we're going to find a way for us to move forward. That's what peace gives you. Okay? And so for leaders, you got to have peace. Life be lifing, right? So you got to have peace or everybody around you going to lose their mind. Like I think about the movie The Sky is Falling, Chicken Little, right? And he was going crazy. And what eventually happened was, at first everybody else would go crazy, right? Like, dog, like he's going crazy. I got to go crazy. The same can be true about peace. Like if the sky actually starts falling, right? And everybody looking at you and you like, all right, so this is what we're going to do. I need you to do this. I need you to do this. I need you to do this. I'm going to do this. And when the sky going to be there tomorrow, they'll be like, you sure? Yeah. All right. Now, so they'll take cues from you. And they'll generally be like, okay, boss man said the sky is falling. He acknowledged the sky is falling, but he said we ain't gonna get crushed. I can live with that. What I need to do to make sure we survive this. That's what peace can give you. That's what peace can lead you. And that's what peace can help you successfully make it through. That's the thing about joy and peace are amazing things, but where they're most useful is when they shouldn't be present. I'm going to say that again. All right. For people taking notes, if you're taking notes, hey, every now and then I surprise myself like, oh, that's good. Joy and peace are two amazing things. But when they're most valuable is in situations and circumstances where life says they should not be present. Because when they are, they're able to change and turn situations for the better. And so peace is on the list. And number 12, this is probably the best thing that I've learned from marriage. From 12 years of marriage, number 12 lessons that I learned from marriage is overflow. And what I mean by that is you need to set up your leadership in a way that you have overflow and that everyone benefits because of the work that you are doing as a leader. And so because of the improvements that you're making, the discipline that you have, the respect for life that you give, the passion, the drive that you exhibit, other people benefit. Other people benefit. I say it all the time. If you're not an entrepreneur, which is cool. Everybody ain't for entrepreneurship. That's cool. That's dope. I'm cool. If you're not an entrepreneur, what you are experiencing is the overflow of another entrepreneur's life. That's what you're experiencing. If you work at a company, you work at a job, whatever you're doing, you are experiencing someone else's overflow. And so as leaders, it is imperative that we develop the internal discipline so that people can experience our overflow. And it's not a prideful thing. It's not an ego thing. This is just the way life works. If leaders do the things that they're supposed to do, other people benefit. And that happens in a marriage and it happens in a team or organization. When you do the things you're supposed to do, others benefit. Perfect example, we just watched the Olympics. Team USA. Shout out to Team USA, men's basketball, women's basketball, right? I got to watch the games. Great games, especially men's last two games, women's, the finals against France was incredible basketball, right? It was a story the whole Olympics. Jason Tatum ain't playing. Jason Tatum ain't playing. Why he ain't playing? He ain't getting off the bench. He's a champion. Yeah, he was first team on NBA. They was going off, right? All the light-skinned guys, all right? They was going off. Tyrese Halliburton, no one's saying about Tyrese, but he wasn't playing either, right? So you got two all-NBA guys, max contract guys, not playing, right? Did they get a gold medal? Yeah, yeah, they did. They benefited from the overflow of other people's leadership and other people's impact. And I'm using that as an example because Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton are great basketball players. Top 1% of the 1% of the 1%, right? And even still, they can benefit from other leaders doing what they're supposed to do. Stephen Curry going nuclear not only benefits Stephen Curry, it benefits Jason Tatum, it benefits Anthony Edwards, it benefits Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Davis, Bam Adebayo, these other people who may not have as much impact on the game and may not get as much opportunity to lead. Someone else doing what they're supposed to do and doing it with excellence benefits everybody. Just on the women's side, Diana Taurasi just became the first team sports women's athlete in Olympic history to get 5 gold medals. She ain't even play. She didn't even play. But because A'ja Wilson is the best player in the universe right now, she gets to make history, right? Think about that. You can be great in your own right and still your claim to history is someone else's overflow. Okay? And I'm preaching now, all right? I'm preaching now, all right? So, as leaders, number 12, the most important, and I saved it for last. I really believe the most important thing we can do is all the things we know we're supposed to do with ourselves so that when we come to the table, we have enough for everyone to benefit. Okay? And so I encourage you leaders to do the work so that others can benefit from your overflow because ultimately as a leader, that's what we want. There's no greater feeling as a leader than you leading someone who experiences greatness while underneath your leadership. It's the greatest feeling ever, yo. It's so much better than you experiencing greatness. It's someone else that you've been walking with experiencing greatness. And so I want you all to have a chance at that. And I hope part 1 and part 2 have impacted your life. I gave you 12 lessons of leadership that I learned from 12 years of marriage. And I know that these things have helped me. And I'm not saying I'm perfect in all 12, but man, I'm so much further in these 12 than I was in August of 2012. And so I can't wait to see how they help you. Drop some more in the comments. So what's some more things that we can learn from each other? And hey, don't be stingy. If you know something, drop a comment, all right? And don't forget to like the video. It just helps YouTube say, hey, other people might like it too. And if you like it, don't you think other people might like it too? If you are an audio listener, this is up and available. I've been linking it in the description. You can listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you don't want to watch, even though I don't know why you want to watch. I'm beautiful, but it's okay. If you just want to listen while you roll in the car, you can tune in on wherever you get your podcast from. And until next time, man, this has been a wonderful, hey, we got one more quarter of the year, Crew Excellence. Like one more quarter of the year. What you gonna do with it? Okay? What you gonna do with it? We are finishing quarter 3 now, and we are going into quarter 4. And man, I'm excited to see what I got to get done, but I'm even more excited to see what you're gonna get done. And don't forget, if you want to join Crew Excellence and be around other leaders who are chasing excellence and greatness in their own lives, click the link in the description. Until next time, man, it's been an honor and a privilege. Peace.